Today I'm going to share with you one reason why sardines are a superfood, and it has to do with what's in your genes. Let's dive right in. Now, there's many reasons why sardines are a superfood. They're high in protein, very low in carbs. They're a great source of omega-3 fatty acids. But today I want to talk about something else that's really mind-blowing. Sardines have the highest concentration of a nutrient that is essential for protecting your genes out of all the foods that I've ever seen. Now, this nutrient is called vitamin D, and you might be wondering, well, what does vitamin D do? Vitamin D helps regulate your genes. It's actually considered a hormone because it influences so many different genes. In fact, there's over 2,000 different genes that vitamin D influences. Now, let me ask you a question. What happens when you don't have enough vitamin D? Well, certain genes turn on that shouldn't be turned on, and other genes turn off that should be turned on. So it's like a dimmer switch. Some genes it turns off, some genes it turns on. And this can create all sorts of problems, including autoimmune diseases, inflammatory problems, and even cancer. In fact, there was a study done of over 2,000 women, and they found that the women who had the highest amount of vitamin D in their blood had a 60% decreased risk in getting cancer. Now, if you take vitamin D as a supplement, it doesn't seem to have the same effect. There's something unique about getting it from food, specifically from sardines. But why is that? Well, sardines contain something else called EPA and DHA, and these are the two active forms of omega-3 fatty acids. Most supplements only contain one of these, and that's DHA. But sardines naturally contain both EPA and DHA. This is why it's so important to consume foods that are a source of these nutrients. It's just not going to have the same effect if you were to take it as a supplement. Now, there's another food that's high in EPA and DHA that I recommend, and that's cod liver oil. But for a different reason. Cod liver oil is high in the omega-3 fatty acids, but sardines are high in vitamin D. Now, it's important that you get both of these nutrients, both the EPA and DHA and vitamin D, because they work synergistically to protect your genes. In fact, the word synergy basically means working together. So vitamin D and these omega-3 fatty acids work together to help regulate your genes, to keep everything balanced so that the right genes are turned on and the bad genes are turned off. So make sure that you add more sardines to your diet. I recommend at least 2 cans a week. You can do a lot of things with sardines. You can put them on salads. You can use them in omelets. You can eat them straight out of the can. But whatever you do, make sure that you add more sardines to your diet to help protect your genes. Now, since we're talking about your genes, there's a test that I recommend that everyone should do to find out exactly what is going on with your genes. And that's called a genetic test. This will tell you if you're at risk for certain diseases, if you have any genetic weaknesses. And then once you know, you can do things about it. You can change your diet. You can change your lifestyle to make sure that you not developing any of these issues or getting sick from taking the wrong supplements. Now, I want to make sure that you understand this. I'm not telling you to get a genetic test to diagnose anything or treat anything. I'm just saying it is a good idea to understand your genetic makeup so you can take steps ahead of time before you get sick. Now, if you haven't seen my other videos on sardines, I put them up right here. Check them out.